Venezuela has built a military specifically designed to make any American intervention catastrophically expensive. Faced with the impossibility of matching U.S. firepower, the Maduro regime has constructed a layered defensive fortress, combining Russian air defense systems, Iranian fast attack boats, and thousands of shoulder-fired missiles distributed across every village and mountain. This video documents every major weapon system Venezuela has deployed to hold the United States at bay. Let's begin with the Strategic Air Defense Network. At the core of Venezuela's strategy sits the most sophisticated air defense network in Latin America. These systems were specifically chosen to deny the United States uncontested air superiority. S-300VM Anti-2500, the crown jewel of Venezuelan defenses, this system serves as the strategic shield protecting Caracas and critical oil infrastructure. It features dual-role capabilities with missiles reaching 200 kilometers and speeds exceeding Mach 7, designed to intercept both fighter jets and ballistic missiles. While heavily dependent on Russian technical support for maintenance, its presence forces American stealth aircraft to operate at extreme ranges and mandates a resource-intensive suppression campaign before any ground operations could begin. Buck M2E, the tactical backbone of the air defense network, this mobile system serves as the primary protection for maneuver units across the country. It features active radar homing missiles capable of engaging targets up to 50 kilometers away, with particular effectiveness against cruise missiles and precision-guided munitions. While less capable than the S-300, its high road mobility and numerous batteries create overlapping engagement zones that fill the gaps in Venezuela's defensive umbrella. S-125 Pechora 2M, the most numerous asset in the inventory with 44 launchers, this modernized Soviet-era system serves as the low-altitude specialist. It features optical tracking systems that allow engagement without emitting radar signals, making it resistant to anti-radiation missiles until the moment of launch. While vulnerable to electronic warfare, its deployment density ensures that low-level penetration corridors favored by cruise missiles face multiple overlapping kill zones. Igla-S shoulder-fired missiles. Venezuela's most dangerous threat to American helicopters and close air support, this system has been distributed in quantities exceeding 5,000 units across the Bolivarian militia. It features a dual-band infrared seeker highly resistant to flares and a 6-kilometer engagement range that creates a no-go zone below 10,000 feet. While individually less powerful than vehicle-mounted systems, the sheer volume distributed to every mountain and village makes them virtually impossible to map or neutralize through airstrikes alone. Next on the list are the offensive air assets. Venezuela's Air Force presents a split between advanced Russian fighters and decaying American legacy platforms. Sukhoi Su-30I Mk2 Flanker, the most capable fighter in Latin America, this twin-engine heavy fighter serves as Venezuela's primary offensive punch against naval targets. It features integration with the Kh-31 Supersonic anti-ship missile traveling at Mach 3.5, giving it the ability to launch coordinated salvos from standoff ranges that could saturate American destroyer defenses. While operational readiness fluctuates between 30 and 50% due to engine maintenance challenges, even a dozen mission-capable flankers armed with supersonic missiles constitute a fleet-and-being threat that cannot be ignored. F-16 Fighting Falcon. A fading relic of better relations with Washington, this American-made fighter once served as the pride of the Venezuelan Air Force. It features aerodynamic performance that remains impressive, but lacks spare parts, software updates, and beyond visual range missiles due to the 2006 arms embargo. While estimates suggest only 3 to 8 remain airworthy out of the original 24, they pose negligible threat to modern American fighters and would likely be sacrificed in desperate early sorties or relegated to ground attack roles. Mohajer-6 Combat Drone. Venezuela's answer to unsustainable manned aviation costs, this Iranian-supplied system serves as a persistent surveillance and strike platform. It features 12-hour endurance and the ability to carry precision-guided glide bombs up to 200 kilometers from base. While slow and vulnerable to fighter interception, its low operational cost allows Venezuela to maintain constant monitoring of American naval movements in the Caribbean without risking pilot lives. Zamora V-1 Kamikaze Drone. The most concerning development in Venezuelan asymmetric warfare, this locally produced clone of the Iranian Shahed-136 serves as a potential swarm weapon against American infrastructure. It features long-range strike capability with a small radar signature that makes detection difficult for traditional air defense systems. While unproven in Venezuelan service, claims suggest potential stockpiles in the hundreds, creating the possibility of overwhelming attacks against airfields or staging areas that would be economically devastating to defend against. The Venezuelan Navy has abandoned conventional blue water operations entirely. A Mosquito fleet strategy has emerged, centered on speed, stealth, and massed missile fire in the shallow waters. Zulfiqar-class fast attack boat, the maritime equivalent of a guided missile ambush, this Iranian-supplied vessel serves as the primary naval striking arm. It features twin CM-90 anti-ship missiles on a 14-ton hull capable of speeds exceeding 52 knots, making it difficult to detect in high sea states or coastal clutter. While individually fragile and unable to survive prolonged engagement, swarms of 5 to 10 boats launching 20 missiles simultaneously from different vectors pose a saturation threat that could overwhelm point defenses on American littoral combat ships or support vessels. CM-90 anti-ship cruise missile. The primary ship killer in the inventory, this Iranian weapon serves as the warhead for both fast attack boats and potential coastal batteries. It features 90-kilometer range with active radar guidance and sea-skimming flight profile designed to defeat radar detection until the terminal phase. While subsonic and vulnerable to modern electronic countermeasures, coordinated salvos from dispersed platforms hidden in mangrove inlets create an asymmetric threat that forces American naval groups to maintain significant standoff distances. Automat Mk2 Coastal Defense Missile. An ingenious example of desperation innovation, this system was salvaged from non-operational frigates and mounted on mobile trucks. It features 180-kilometer range with a 210-kilogram warhead capable of crippling medium-sized vessels. While the missiles are older technology susceptible to jamming, their mobility and deployment along the extensive Venezuelan coastline create uncertainty for American amphibious planners attempting to identify safe landing zones. Bastion P Coastal Defense System. The strategic wildcard of Venezuelan maritime denial, credible reports suggest deployment of this advanced Russian platform. It features the P-800 Onyx supersonic cruise missile with 300-kilometer range traveling at Mach 2.5, creating a bubble of denial covering the entire southern Caribbean basin. While definitive photographic evidence remains scarce, the mere possibility of its presence forces American aircraft carriers to operate from positions south of Puerto Rico rather than projecting power closer to Venezuelan shores. Moving to the ground forces, Venezuela fields substantial quantities of Russian armor and artillery. Against American technological overmatch, these conventional assets suffer from critical vulnerabilities that doctrine attempts to compensate for through urban resistance. T-72B1 main battle tank. The backbone of armored formations with up to 192 units, this Soviet-designed vehicle serves as the primary heavy armor for conventional defense. It features a 125mm smoothbore cannon and explosive reactive armor providing protection against older anti-tank weapons. While formidable against regional neighbors, the critical lack of thermal imaging renders the fleet nearly blind in night operations compared to American M1A2 Abrams tanks, meaning Venezuelan armor would be systematically destroyed in darkness before identifying targets. BMP-3 Infantry Fighting Vehicle. Unusually heavily armed for its class, this Russian platform serves as mechanized infantry support with approximately 123 units in service. It features both a 100mm main gun and 30mm auto cannon, giving it impressive firepower alongside amphibious capability for riverine operations. While outmatched by American Bradley vehicles in sensors and armor protection, its ability to traverse Venezuela's extensive river networks provides mobility advantages in border terrain where roads are sparse. BM-30 Smerch Multiple Rocket Launcher. The long arm of Venezuelan ground forces, this 300mm rocket system serves as the primary area saturation weapon. It features 90-kilometer range, allowing it to strike American staging areas and forward operating bases well behind front lines. While ammunition stockpiles are limited and the system is vulnerable to counter-battery fire, its ability to deliver devastating barrages makes it a priority target that American forces must locate and destroy early in any conflict. Bolivarian Militia Forces. The planned foundation of protracted resistance, this paramilitary organization claims membership exceeding 4 million, though combat-effective numbers are drastically lower. It features distribution of AK-103 rifles, RPG-7 anti-tank weapons, and critically, thousands of Igla-S surface-to-air missiles across the civilian population. While lacking heavy weapons and conventional military training, the militia's integration into urban neighborhoods and rural villages creates a massive pool of potential insurgents designed to turn any occupation into a high-casualty quagmire. Finally, the invisible battlefield. Venezuela has invested heavily in electronic warfare and cyber capabilities as force multipliers that can blind technologically superior American forces. Krasuka 4 Broadband Jamming Station. Russia's contribution to the electromagnetic battle. This system reportedly serves to protect high-value targets from American surveillance and targeting. It features 300-kilometer jamming range capable of disrupting AWACS aircraft and satellite communications. While operational status remains unconfirmed and the system is vulnerable to anti-radiation missiles, its presence would degrade American ability to manage the air battle and coordinate precision strikes during critical opening phases. GPS jamming systems, an area denial tool actively tested in the Caribbean. These Russian-supplied platforms serve to disrupt navigation signals. They feature localized interference that has caused commercial flight disruptions and would degrade GPS-guided munitions like JDAM bombs. While the jamming can be overcome through alternative navigation methods, it forces American forces to expend resources on counter-electronic warfare and reduces the effectiveness of standoff precision strike campaigns.